Hi, hello everyone. I'm a tutor of Uplatz. This is React.js session part 1. To know more about us, please use this website address which I have given in my presentation. So let's see the agenda of our today's session. So today we are going to discuss about what is React.js and why we need to use React.js, some of the pros and cons of React.js and advantages over React.js, the other languages, and how we can install the setup to run our React.js in our local machine, and what are the dependencies we have to install a React.js, and what is basically software package manager, and a brief explanation about Webpack, how to create a first React app in our local machine after installation, and some of the basic concepts of creating components in React. So basically, what is React.js? So it is an open source and component based front end library only for view layer of a application. It is maintained by Facebook. So basically this React.js is a front end library. It is used to create front end applications, and it was maintained by Facebook. So basically all the application will use as a DOM. So basically this React.js was using a virtual DOM-based machine to fill the data in the HTML form. So basically, this React.js will be used to create a single page application. So in the upcoming sessions, I will tell you what is single page. So in the meanwhile, how it is helping a HTML DOM to fill a virtual DOM, in the sense, in the HTML file, you may create a text field. So with the help of this virtual DOM in React.js, it helps allow the user to fill the data in that particular field. So it will change the individual DOM instead of reloading the entire page. So you may able to see the difference between the pure HTML and React.js application. The thing is like DOM. So in the pure HTML file, if you made a changes in any of your web pages, the changes will reflect only after reloading the page. But whereas when you create an application with the help of a React.js at the front end, it will not make the user to reload to get reflect data. So it will reload, it will reflect as soon as when we change. So that is the main difference. So a React application is made up of multiple components. So everything you're going to create in React is like component. So each is responsible for outputting small reusable piece of HTML. So basically the components can be nested within other components, so that it will allow some complex application to build a simple block of elements that we can see in the upcoming session. So the meaning of the nested component. So next would be, so, and also it will maintain an internal state of the component and corresponding to currently open tab. So this React.js allows to write a components using domain specific language called JSX. So everything we are going to write in React.js is in JSX. So every component you're going to write inside the React.js, that should be JSX. So what is JSX question arises here. So that I will explain you in the end of this session. So basically this particular JSX will allow the React.js to write a component using HTML while mixing in JavaScript element. So the React will internally convert its virtual DOM, and then ultimately it will give the output of HTML for us. So that is what it is happening inside. So if we are writing JSX inside React.js, so many of the user may not understand, even a browser is not getting understand. So what this React is internally doing, with the help of this particular virtual DOM, it is converting that to a HTML and giving output to us. So the state changes in our component quickly and automatically to re-render our components in HTML DOM by utilizing the virtual DOM. So the virtual DOM is a in-memory representation of an actual DOM. So that is the main line. So this maybe you can get an interview. So this virtual DOM is acting a main part of the React.js. It is a in-memory representation for React.js, or you can say hot. So by doing all these steps, we can directly process our browser DOM. So that what it will do, it can add quickly, update, remove the components, whichever we change, and then it will also update lastly cycle render as well. So that is what all about is happening inside the React.js with the help of the virtual DOM. So that is what what is React.js, a brief explanation. So on a simple, you can say it is open source first thing, component based architecture, single page application. Virtual DOM plays a vital role in React.js. So these are the gist of uh, just answer for the question, what is React.js and main concept. So when we can use the React.js, so this is definitely many people will arise this question. So what and when? So especially if you're working on single page application, then you can use this. Maybe it is fast, responsive, and user friendly as well as. But this JS library can hardly called as universal remedy. So that is the main thing. Attractive thing we have in React.js. So next would be why we are going for React.js. So it is like performance wise, it is good and it is easy, quick testing, so that you can very easy to learn and implement. So because everything we are going to create as component, so there are only 4 to 5 important concepts, but the concepts are little much big, but only 5 to 6 important concepts we have in React.js. So if you learn that, you will be able to create your single page application with a React.js. So that's why easy to learn and implement, and faster app development because of this virtual DOM. So code reusability is also possible, and server side rendering, native app development, easy and quick live updating, that is also possible with the help of the virtual DOM. So that these all the main reason. So we are going for React.js. So next is why it is so popular. So because of this, so it has code reusability, and we are using a JSX here. What is JSX? HTML plus JavaScript will gives the JSX. So I will give you the example of a JSX at the end of this session. So props data flow, which is like data flow from one to another. So we have a state, we have ritual DOM. So I will tell you what are states and props. So performance wise, it is very super because it will eliminate a heavy code framework and libraries. And is also, it is easy to migrate from one technology to other technology. If you're using React.js, it is very easy to migrate to another technologies. So friendly, we can easily debug, and testing is also smoother. That is why React.js become more popular among the market. So pros and cons of React.js would be like, pros, we have it has a virtual DOM, so the time taking on the complex classes, friend, and the component we can be reusable. So cons would be improper documentation, that is like and data flow. So JSX, some people will say JSX is a barrier because many of are not aware of JSX. So that's why they are telling React.js is con. So easy debugging and testing. So where and all, what are the popular social networks using React.js? So day-to-day life, we are using Instagram, Amazon Prime Video, Messenger, Skype, and we are using Uber to moving from one place to another. So we are using PhonePe to make online transactions. So in everywhere, they are using React.js. So that's why React.js is playing a major role in our real world environment. So next would be, so to use a React.js, there are some basic dependencies that we need to install. So the first thing, so here is the installation steps. So the first thing, we need to install a node. So for to install that, you need to go to this particular website, just like https node.js org. 1 minute, I will make a pointer. Okay. So this would be the website you need to go and then please download. So I'm just showing here my system is like 32-bit. So I'm just using a 32-bit installer. So if it is 64, please use this. And I'm just showing you only for Linux. So when you go to this website, so for iOS, Mac, Android, so everything, so all the possible operating systems, it is available freely. So just click on that. So after double clicking on that, just click on run. So with this screen will comes. So just click on run. So after that, you just click on the finish button next, and then please accept this license agreement, and then click on next. So after that, you will be able to shown for the location where to install. So please make sure, please note that location, or else you give some other location and then proceed for the installation. So you can see here the location shown for me is like so this is the location. So if I'm okay with this location, I can proceed next, or else I need to change my location and then I need to proceed with next. So after that, so this is all default, so nothing to worry about all these steps. So just proceed. So nothing to worry about all these steps. Just leave this and then click on next. So at the last, please click on install button. So that will automatically get installed. So done. So now node is successfully get installed in our local machine. So how we can run a program in Node.js. So here is a sample program which I will explain you as well as. So this is the program we need to, this is just a hello world program in Node.js. So Node.js is also one of the server side language. In it will come under MERN. If you're a MERN developer, you need to know Node.js. So this is a sample code in Node.js. So what I have mentioned here, where HTTP require HTTP, I'm just creating a server and my server has request and response. I'm just sending a response in 200, and then hello world, I'm just listening to a server 8080. So I'm just sending a response. So uh, my response will be reach at 8080. So I'm just giving the basic explanation for the code here. So the require, what this require will do. So it will read the JavaScript files and then executes a file and then it will return objects. So that is the duty of this require. So that you can use a various functionality available in the module called by require function. So I'm just using HTTP, one of the functionality used in the require. So the next, in the second line, I have created a server. So that is a simple function, request and response function, and just I have created a server. What I have request is received hello world to a response to the client. That is what I'm just sending. So this is the response I'm just sending. So this write function will send a header data to the client, and then the function will close once the connection click closed. So my server is listening to dot listen function to make a client request port on 8080 so that this port may change. So in our application, whatever port you are using, you can make you give that port name, but it should be in 4 digits. So once everything done, how to execute. So I have written a simple node program. So I need to save in any of my path in my computer. After that, I'm just saving inside users welcome. So my file I have, it should be in .js. So I'm just running node first.js. So I'm just starting my server. So after this, you need to open your browser. So if you try to access this particular path, you will get the message whatever you send through a server. So this is a basic program. Once you done with the installation part, please write a small sample program, or else you can make use of this program whatever I have given, and then just try running like this so that you can understand there is your node is get successfully installed in your local machine. So next concept is software package manager. So what is that? So the name npm stands from and package manager Node.js. So that is one of the package of Node.js. Other all npm package or defines in package.json files. So later I will explain you what is package.json files. So the content will be written in the package.json will be written in JSON format. So JSON format is nothing but, if you know JavaScript, it's nothing like key value pass, that is everyone knows. So it should have at least two fields in that file. So basic field is name and version. So this is the example for key value pass. So this is the format we have inside package.json. So how this software package manager npm is managing dependencies. So every will define it is managing inside package.json only. So what all the dependencies you needed for that particular application, everything will be uh, entered in your package.json with the name and version. So this is how it is managing the dependencies. So the next is, so this is all about npm. So the next concept you need to know is webpack. So this webpack is a very important concept in react.js. So it is a static modular bundle for javascript application. So what is the static modular bundle? So what it will do, it takes all the code from our application and then makes usable in a web browser. So that is all the codes, in the sense our application will have bundle of codes. So it will take all the codes. So it will have a chunks of code in the mini. It will use the chunks of code. So we have node modules inside that. Once you install npm, the node modules and package.json will automatically created. We will be having JavaScript files. We will be having images and CSS styles for the particular images. So everything it will takes as a chunks of code. So then this Webpack will separate the code based on the app. So with this modular breakdown, it is easy to manage, debug, verify, and test our code. So, so this Webpack is helping everything to break, separate, easy to manage, and test our code. So this is the pictorial representation. So the center would be the Webpack. So the center would be the Webpack, and so this is our code files we have. I have .js, which is like JavaScript. N number of files will be here, and .css here also it will n number of files, and images, JPG format, PNG format, so n number of files. So it will hit a Webpack. So this Webpack is separating all the files. So it will process our application, and then it will make a dependencies what are we needs. So this bundle will create grouping a connected code, and then it is compiling all the files we have inside our module, and then it is transferring to the browser. So this is what actually the flow is happening. So if one file depends another, the Webpack that will create a separate dependencies for that file. And also Webpack can take your non-access and then convert them to your dependencies for our application. So that is also possible. So it is broken into 5 principles, this particular Webpack. So what are the 5 principles? So first would be entry, second is output, third is loader, plugins, mode. So I'm just explaining you one by one. So how it is actually doing. So if you're creating any of our application, so you need to design your Webpack with the help of this 5 principle. So if you won't create your Webpack, then it will not compile because it will be a bunch of files. So I will show you the folder structure of a React app. So it will be a bunch of files, and the compiler will get confused, and it will not separate everything and run and transfer to your browser. So this Webpack is doing that. So entry. So it's a entry point of the application, and it's the first module the Webpack will process to build the dependencies. So that should be looks it should be an entry file, and the Webpack will figure out the other module depending on that particular entry point. So the default entry would be src index.js. So that this would be the default entry nowadays everyone are using. So it would be like this: module export, you need to give like this: entry dot src, inside src folder you have index.js. So I'm just exporting my entry point, page 1, page 2, page 3, like this. So this is what you need to mention your entry point inside the particular Webpack file. So next is we have also can multiple entry points for single page application. So with examples, we are telling that Webpack to create these separate dependencies in a graph. It seems it fetch a new HTML document with the assets, and also this allow for maximizing reusable code throughout the different pages of application, making it a more optimized way. So the output point is a file we need to that need to return into the disk. So that is the main thing we need here. So the main is the output file. So that you need to mention like this. It is written in dist main.js. That is the output file added to a dist directory. So it is set at the same location as entry because it also has chunk names for content that will directly update when our code changes. So these things you need to keep in mind, entry and output point. So this is the output. So like this I need to mention. So you can see here, this is my entry. I'm just exporting my entry and then output where I need to. So this is how you need to mention. So by default, Webpack only knows to how to process .json with limiting. But we have some loaders, right, to extend the functionality and converting the modular into application. We want some loaders. So let's see how we can tell the loaders to configure. So there are two configuration basically, loader hyphen test. So what it does do, it will identify the file or file types that needs to be transformed, and it will tell which Webpack loader is used to transform the file. So that is the main thing you need to tell here. So you can see here, my file name would be bundle.js. So the modular I'm just using here is raw loader. So like this, you need to tell, you need to identify the file type, and then you need to tell the Webpack which loader is used to transform those files. So two things you need to mention like this in module.exports. So next would be plugins. So it handles the additional tasks that can't complete by the loader. So some tasks, you can see here I am just taking a raw loader. So everything the particular loader cannot perform. So but I need some additional functionalities also to do in my application. So in that point of time I can use plugins. So you need to think about bundle optimization as well as. So this is how you can use plugins. So you can see here, after the using loader, I'm just using a plugin which is like HTML web plugin. So this is how you need to use. So src index.html I'm just mentioning where it need to use because this would be the entry point which I am setting. So next is I need to configure my application. I need to trigger the Webpack to build in the correct environment, whether either the development mode, production mode, or none. So if none is mentioned, it will automatically switch to a production mode. So this is very important. So once all done, it will switch on to the mode. So these are the important things Webpack plays role. So this Webpack is an important concept in React.js. So it will take all the bundle chunks of code in our application. It will separate and then it will started converting and transfer to a web page. In between, you need to use all these five things to process and make this happen in an application. Just nothing but you need to mention the entry point, output, and loaders. Plugin is not mandatory. So the in some case, some functionality the loaders may not be able to do at that time, you need to use plugins, and you need to mention mode, in what type of mode your application needs to be, either development, production, or testing. So if you have not mentioned any of the mode, the default it will be taken as production mode. So this is all about the Webpack. So next would be Babel. So it is nothing but a JavaScript compiler. So it will basically convert ES6 to ES6 backward or forward in a current version of JavaScript. It would convert your code. So you can see here the transformation syntax. What they are doing, they are in a target environment. So you can see here, this is my ES5 arrow function. So once I'm just in make my dependencies Babel in my environment, so it has been converted like this. So that would be equivalent to this. So this would be equivalent to that. So this is what transpiling. It is converting the older version of JavaScript to a new version of JavaScript. Whatever you want, it is converting. So that is all about Babel. So the next would be uh, JSX. So JSX. So from the beginning, I'm just telling JSX, React.js is using JSX. So you may think, what is that JSX? It is nothing but syntax extension of JavaScript. So we are recommended to using it, the React, to describe how our UI should look like. And also it will remind a template language, but it comes with a powerful JavaScript. It produce a React elements. So it is rendering a logic inherently coupled with other UI logic as well as. So how events are handled here. So I'm just show you with the stage wise how the state changes, how the data is prepared for display, everything I'm just going to show. So in the beginning, it may confuse you, but the thing I'm just showing you this all this example is to understand JSX. But here, so here, 1 minute, I'm just sharing my screen. Sorry for the inconvenience happened between. So okay, so it is like yeah. So what the events handle and how the state changes over time and how the data is prepared to display. So everything. So I'm just in the beginning to see this, it may little confuse you, but in the upcoming sessions you may able to get a clear picture. So you can see this example. So const element, so this is what actually JSX. So I'm just making my JavaScript inside the HTML. So HTML in the sense h1 is the HTML attribute. So